A key player in the scrubbing of the Benghazi talking points gives her side of the story on Capitol Hill. This is Special Report. Good evening, I'm Brett Baer. She has worked for Presidents Clinton, Bush 43, and Obama, served as ambassador to NATO and an advisor to Dick Cheney. And she has long been considered a rising star in the foreign policy arena. Then came Benghazi. Many questioned whether Victoria Nuland's ascent through the ranks of official Washington would be derailed by her role in the crafting of the now infamous talking points on the Benghazi attack. As Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen reports today, we got our first clue as to whether Victoria Nuland's star will continue to rise.
I was not in a policy role in this job. I was in a communications role.
Facing disjointed questioning from GOP senators on the Foreign Relations Committee, former State Department spokesperson Victoria Nuland, nominated to become an Assistant Secretary of State, defended her role in the crafting of the now infamous talking points on Benghazi.
At no point was I ever told to object to anything. I was acting on my instincts and asking for a higher level review to check them, and I did not make any edits, as I said.
In May, the Obama administration released 100 pages of emails in which officials at State, the White House, and CIA labored through 12 versions of the talking points that guided UN Ambassador Susan Rice through the Sunday shows of September 16th. That's when Rice pressed the false narrative that Benghazi was not a terrorist act, but a protest gone awry. In blunt terms, Nuland had pushed her colleagues to strike all references to the involvement of al-Qaeda-linked terrorists. These revisions don't resolve all my issues or those of my building leadership, Nuland wrote at one point. They are consulting with national security staff.
Can you just tell me who that building leadership was? Who you're referring to there?
The only person that I consulted with that night was my regular reporting channel.
And that person is?
At the time, that was Jake Sullivan.
Now National Security Advisor to Vice President Biden, Sullivan at the time was Deputy Chief of Staff to then Secretary of State Clinton. Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky sought in vain for evidence to support the allegation that CIA personnel in Benghazi were covertly running weapons to the Syrian rebels.
There are many of us who believe that it had to do with an arms trade going out of the CIA annex, and that perhaps people were unhappy about arms being taken from one group to another and sent to another that may have incited the rioting and may have incited the terrorist attack.
Senator, I would be delighted to talk to you about the relationship between the State Department and the CIA in a separate setting, if that's helpful.
Nuland said she never discussed the Benghazi talking points with Secretary Clinton, but then Nuland admitted she did discuss with Clinton the need for the administration's spokesman, like herself, to protect the quote-unquote equities of the CIA in their statements on Benghazi. That mirrored the language that Ben Rhodes of the White House staff used in the email that he sent to Nuland, Brett, during their exchanges on the talking points.
More on this with the panel. James.